Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Pia and I am so happy that you're joining me here today. Thank you for taking the time during busy Vlogmas to hang out with me. I am really enjoying Vlogmas. That is other people's Vlogmas. I really wanted to do it, but there's no way that I will have time to record every day, edit, put out the content every single day while doing Christmas out of a suitcase here in Denmark. But anyway, yeah, I am enjoying other people's efforts. It is beautifully cold here in Denmark. So today I am wearing my doodle sweater. It's this really heavy, warm sweater. It's worked on very large needles. I'm sorry, I don't even remember. Is it 8mm, 10mm, something like that? I will link the pattern in the description box below, together with everything else that I talk about during this episode. I don't know if you watched my last episode. If you did, you will have seen that I had messed up everything the first time that I washed my beautiful, huge, lovely, warm Latwool cardigan, this one with the joy on the back. I did not add some vinegar to the water or some citric acid or even a color catcher, as so many of you later suggested in the comment section. I just plunked it in the water and forgot everything about how all the reds and therefore also the oranges, they're notorious for bleeding. So it bled. This one looked horrible, but look at it now. I actually managed to save it. It took a while. I washed it with everything. I used, vinegar. I used citric acid. I used 5 or 6 different stain removers. Finally, I used chlorine. What do you call that? The thing that really smells like chloride. What you also put in a swimming pool. I used that. Bleach. There you go. Bleach. I even used bleach. I did test, though, on a strand of yarn first that it would be okay. The yarn was okay. The color stayed, so you could say the color was okay, too. And I did not know what to do. I love my cardigan. I use it as my house coat over my pajamas every morning. I use it when I go out. I pop it over a coat or a jacket. I use it all the time. And I did not want to knit it again and just let this one go. I needed to find a fix. And the fix was to duplicate stitch over all the discolored sections. So I did that. Of course, if you go very close, you'll probably be able to see the duplicate stitching. I don't know. If you're that close to me, it's uncomfortable anyway, so please don't do that. I love that I was able to save my cardigan, and again, I wear it every morning and every time I brave the elements and go outside. So that was, a sad story with a happy ending. Before this happened, I had taken all the leftovers of my Latwool and I had weighed them, separate them into 2 little balls so that I would be able to make fingerless mitts for my son for one of his Advent presents. But of course I did knit 1 glove and then, or 1 mitt. And then I used all the yarn for the other mitt to duplicate stitch on my Latwool Cardi. So I had to order another skein. I did. And now I have 2 mitts for my lovely son. He and Peter both love these mitts when they're these outdoorsy, bushcrafty types. So they love to go out into the forest. They're gonna spend December 28th there with some friends, and I don't know. But they love these fingerless mitts for that, because they can still use their hands and work, but stay just a little bit warm. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to giving these to him. I used a pattern from my Christmas collection. There's a pattern for a pair of fingerless mitts, my size. And then I just used the much thicker Latwool and got this beautiful result. I had to do some stripes, so all the basket weave here is knit in another color. I just did not have enough of the gray. Well, as it turns out, I did, but at the time I didn't know, and I actually liked the stripes. So yeah, lovely pair of mitts. And now I have leftovers again, but it's never bad to have leftovers. I know that I will find something lovely to use them for. I'm probably, yeah, I have some ideas. Of course I do. I also made another pair of fingerless mitts, and this time for me, because I'm worth it. No, it is super cold here in Denmark, and with energy prices being through the roof, sometimes it's even a bit cold on the hands inside. So I made these light fingerless mitts that are close fitting, and they're warm, but they're not like super warm. I would not wear these outside as it is right now, but inside they're wonderful. And if your fingers are better than mine, you could probably get away with wearing them outside. I knit them out of cashmere, because cashmere, it's so soft. It's Mongolian cashmere from Anita's World, and this color is the one that she calls Beach House, and I really love this color. It's so sophisticated. It's not gray, it's not beige, it's not sand. It's very own, but a very, very sophisticated color, I think. Very elegant. And I love the elegant lines of this mitt. You can see here the subtle rib continues up through the thumb. Yeah, and I made a special cast on and bind off edge. So all in all, I'm very, very happy with these, and I use them. I use them a lot when I sit and work at my computer. I will even put them on for knitting. I can easily do that, but usually my hands are warm when knitting. But when I'm at my computer, which is a couple of hours at least every day, I will be using these. This pattern is in testing, and it's going to come out soon because it's not a complicated pattern by any means. But yeah, second pair of fingerless mitts for this episode. And, well, we have established that I want to use my leftovers. I had leftovers from these because these are only 20 grams, 22 grams, I think, per mitt. The skein that I got of the Mongolian cashmere was 55 grams, so I had leftovers. And I'll show you what I did with it in a second, because I did do a version of my pool shawl. Returning viewers might remember that I made a shawl, a white shawl of the leftovers. Is this the theme for today? Leftovers? Anyway, I knit a shawl with the leftovers from my snowflake sweater because it had some white color work up here on the yoke, and I only used 30 grams for that. I did have actually 170 grams leftovers. I'd gotten 2 skeins just to make sure. So I knit this white shawl out of this in a medium size, and then I decided, you know, I'm gonna make a pattern for a shawl in different sizes. So this is my large size, and it's long, it's not deep. I wanted a shawl that was long but not deep, more like a scarf, something like that. Yeah, so I haven't even measured this largest size yet, but yeah, this is gonna keep me all cozy and warm even in this cold weather that we have right now. This one is also knit in yarn from A Knitter's World, and this is a very special yarn. Usually I don't like to play favorites with my yarn. I think that's kind of unfair. But if I had to choose only one yarn to work with for the rest of my life, this is a strong contender. This is softer than cashmere. I'm holding it with a mohair, obviously. So I will show you. Misa, can I just, dog on my leftovers. These are my leftovers of the yarn that I am talking about. And actually, I don't think that it looks very soft here in the cake, and or also not in the skein. It doesn't look like a super soft yarn. But it is mink. Have you ever tried knitting with mink? It is so amazing. I'm just gonna try to see if I can. Please, miss, can I have the ball band? She's everywhere, but here is the ball band. It is 37% mink, 33% viscose, 18% cashmere, and 12% wool. So it's a mix, a generous mix of lovely fiber. It's so soft. Oh, when you knit with it, you're just like, what is this magic? It's wonderful. The color is called Dusty Fall, this dusty greenish color. And I am, as I said, holding it with a mohair, also from A Knitter's World, also in the colorway Dusty Fall. I'm gonna leave you now, sweetie. Her mohair is special too. On many mohairs, you will see this halo of fluff. When you knit with her mohair, because the fiber, each fiber is so long in this mohair, it's not like a halo, it's more like a little cloud over your knitting. It is so beautiful. Maybe you can kind of see it here. It's amazing. Mohair is not just mohair, and the mohair, this one, it's a little bit pricier because they leave the mohair goats for longer before cutting the hair, obviously. That's how you get these long fibers. So instead of cutting often and getting more fiber to be spun into yarn, they cut them at longer intervals. So each goat produces less fiber for yarn but it is so luxurious. So yeah, this pool shawl. And the reason I'm showing you this while I'm talking about my leftover cashmere is because the way that I have written up this pattern is so that you can use any yarn, any weight, any amount. So when I had this little bit of cashmere left, I thought I need to make something with it. It's here in my really beautiful Christmas bag from Knitwear by Maki. I really love this because it's so understated. I have a very, very small pool shawl. This is half of the shawl. It's not going to be very big. I am going to use it as a shawl cuff to tie around my shawls to keep them in place. I know you can get these beautiful leather cuffs, but I wanted to make something myself, to knit a shawl cuff. So that's actually what I'm doing with my leftover cashmere. One could argue that cashmere should be something that's close to the neck, but I didn't have enough for that. So this is what I'm using my leftover cashmere for. And I think on this one, it's probably easier to show the way that you set up these shawls, the way that you start them. You get this completely seamless I-cord edge. You can see maybe it's easier to show on this one. No, it's not. But in person, it's really easy to see that you get a completely seamless I-cord edge going all around the shawl, even though you do knit the I-cord edge together with the rest of the shawl, so there's no finishing to this one. This is in testing too. It's also going to come out soon because the testers are just zooming through these, and some of them told me, yeah, we're going to use these for Christmas presents because, as I said, you can use any yarn that you have in stash, any weight, any amount. Of course, your shawl will be smaller or larger depending on what yarn you're using, but this is a stash buster for sure. I am working on yet another pool shawl because clearly 3 are not enough. So this is really the very, very first beginning of the shawl. These are also leftovers from my snowflake. I have a little more than 100 grams left over in a couple of bowls. So I'm going to see how far that will take me. I want to make a couple of samples of this shawl just to give people an idea about how big a shawl will you get with different amounts of yarn, just so that there's something to go by when you pick your yarn. But yeah, I'm looking forward to work on this. I really like to work the subtle rib, and yeah, I just love these projects. So this is something for tonight. It is living in a project bag that is not a project bag, but just a cheap gift bag that I picked up it was last year, so I don't remember if it was Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby, one of those big box stores. We went to get some Christmassy stuff and just look at the yarn. And I saw these gift bags. They came as sets of 2. I think it was maybe $10 for 2, and I was just like, no, they're too cute to just be gift bags. So I got some that I use as project bags here in the Christmas time. I have a couple of other projects going, but they're completely new designs that I don't know where they're going to take me, so I just want to see what happens with those before I show them. And of course, I'm also still doing my 20 minutes a day of contemplative knitting on my Thanksgiving cast on that I talk about on my last episode. But it's basically a blanket made of rather large garter stitch squares, knit like where you increase and then decrease. So knit on the bias, I don't know. Big squares. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The last project that I am going to show you is, of course, my Advent sweater, my Jericho's Rose, that now lives in this big basket because it is turning into a rather large project. I'm just going to show you, if you don't know the Jericho's Rose, it's this sweater that is worked bottom up, so that in November we have been working in the main color, the sleeves and the body, and then on December 1st we started to knit the yoke using either our Advent calendars or a bunch of scraps and leftovers. And I say we because we're doing a knit along for this. I'm just gonna put all the information in the description box below because you still have time to join us. I do know that a couple of people have been wanting to join, but started too late, didn't have time to knit the body and the sleeves, so they just turned the pattern around and worked it top down. So they're going to have January to do the body and the sleeves. But yeah, I am using my Advent, which is from by Kilarek. She's a wizard. She's just a genius with colors. Look at this. Isn't it just gorgeous? I'm in love. I want to finish this sweater. I really need to control myself not to just rip everything open and knit my little heart out. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to stick to my original plan of knitting as I open my Advent skeins. I did, however, have to abandon my original plan to do absolutely no color management. Just knit whatever color I open on any given day. I've had to do a little bit of color management because the Advent calendar from by Kilarek is dyed as a fade this year. So some of the skeins, some of the colorways were just too close. So the pattern disappeared. So I have been doing a little bit of color management. What I'll do is I will collect yarns over 2, 3, 4 days, and then I will figure out how to work these together so that it looks beautiful and you can still see the pattern. Yesterday I opened this one, so we're clearly going into the blues, I thought. But then today I opened this one, which, I mean, this can take us anywhere. So I'm dying to see what happens tomorrow, because I do think that I need to wait one more day just to see where the fade takes us before I start knitting these up. But I can wind them. I can wind them so I have my little cakes ready to go tomorrow when I open the third color and can make a decision. So very excited to be working on this. I cannot wait. It's unputdownable. But yeah, I have to be patient. Patience is a virtue I need to practice. So this is the perfect project. That was it for the fiber content this week. As for life in general, it's Christmas. I mean, that's Vlogmas. I start every morning with a nice cup of Christmas tea and my knitting and some Vlogmas. And well, for the rest of the day, I will typically know exactly what to do, because that's one of the things that I love the most about Christmas, is that it's so predictable. I know that it's going to be completely new, but still exactly the same. I have this notebook that contains all of my Christmas. It's an old one, but it has everything I need for Christmas. It has lots of photos from Christmases past, my little ones, and me a couple of years ago, my first Christmas. It has photos of all of the family, including this photo that I really love. These are my great grandparents. Yeah, I love that photo. It also has knitting patterns, of course. It has recipes for everything you need for a Christmas dinner, and all the Christmas treats and snacks, and everything is collected in this book so that I always know exactly how to do Christmas, if I should forget. I even in this one put in grocery lists for the Christmas lunches that we do 2 or 3 of every year, and for Christmas Eve, so that I don't have to think, which is a good thing, because typically at Christmas I'm high on the fumes of Christmas and cannot be trusted to do anything. So I love my little book. It is just a regular notebook that I have just put everything into over the years, and yeah, now it's a family treasure. I have promised my youngest son that he can have it once I'm done with it. So yeah, I really hope that you're enjoying this beautiful time of year. No matter if you're celebrating Christmas or not, this is a wonderful time of year. There is all this tension of nature closing down, but also the knowledge that in a very few days, everything will turn and the days will be getting longer, and yeah, it's lovely. I have no idea how it works in the southern hemisphere, if the days then at the same time as ours will start getting shorter. I guess so. I mean, one globe, right? Anyway, wherever you are, I hope that you are enjoying the season, and I hope that you have a lot of good knitting. I hope you don't have too much have to do knitting, like the gift knits that you knit one sock, you really don't want to finish the second, but you know you have to. A little bit of that is okay, but I hope it doesn't take over all of your knitting time. I will see you again in English in 2 weeks, in Danish in 1 week. Until then, be safe, be happy, and enjoy yourself.